So we're doing exercise 7C, and in this video I'm going to be answering question 1a, which says, find the equation of the image of the graph y equals the square root of x when each of the following sequences of transformations have been applied. A translation of 2 units in the positive direction of the x-axis, followed by a dilation of factor 3 from the x-axis. All right. Now, there are 2 ways we can approach this. One is by inspection, and the other is through our method. So it's very important that we all understand how to do it through the method, but I also want to show you how to do it just by inspecting it, just by looking at it. So we know we're starting with y equals the square root of x. All right, that's what we're starting with. Then our first transformation is going to be a translation of 2 units in the positive direction of the x-axis. Now, we know that is going to look like this. It's going to be x minus 2, because if I'm going in the positive direction of the x-axis, that means I'm going to go minus 2. So we just know that. We just know that's going to happen. Next, we then are going to do a dilation of a factor of 3 from the x-axis. And again, this is just like, we know that when we have a dilation from the x-axis, I'm going to have my number outside the square root. So it's just going to be like that. So this right here is my answer. And notice that what I just did then, I didn't really give you much of a mathematical explanation as to what I'm doing. It's just really, we know that when I'm translating a 2 in the positive x direction, I'm going to have minus 2 here. And when I'm dilating at a factor of 3 from the x, I'm going to have a 3 here. So this is really by inspection. It's really going to come in handy. But it's very important that you know the other method to do this as well. And that is what I'm just calling by the method. That's what the textbook calls it as well. And I've broken it up into 3 stages. First, we find the image. Then we do some rearranging. Then we're going to replace x and y. So let's begin. First, we have to find the image. What do I mean by that? So we know that we have our original point xy, which is going to be somewhere on y equals the square root of x. Then we're going to apply a transformation, and we're going to arrive at a new point. And we can call this the image of this point. So we're going to apply some transformations and arrive at a new point. So all I've done is written down my point here. And all right, so what will be my new point for x? Well, it's just going to be a translation of 2 units in the positive x direction. So I'm taking my x and I'm plussing 2 to it. Pretty easy. Then for my y, it's a dilation of a factor of 3 from the x-axis. Now, if it's from the x-axis, that means it's affecting my y. So I'm going to have 3y. So I'm plussing 2 to my x and timesing my y by 3. So this is my new point. So just to use this lingo, what I could say is that x dash equals x plus 2 and y dash equals 3y. Now that's my first step. Hopefully you all understood what I did. I just found my new point. I found the image of the point, as the textbook puts it. Let's now move on to B, which is rearranging. And all I'm going to do here is make it such that I have x equals. So I'm going to minus 2 from both sides and get x dash minus 2 equals x. And on this side, I'm going to get y dash divided by 3 equals y. And that's all I'm doing here. So let me just highlight what I'm doing in it. This was the final conclusion of my first step, getting x dash equals and y dash equals. For my second step, the end result was getting x equals something and y equals something. And then on my third step, what I'm going to be doing is replacing my x and y. So we know originally we were given y equals the square root of x. Well, now we know when it's transformed, my y is going to equal this, y dash over 3. And I know that my x is going to equal this, the square root of x dash minus 2. I then could get rid of my dashes and times 3 by both sides and be left with this. And that would be my final answer. So notice I had 3 steps, 1, 2, 3, and my final answer here is what I got by doing it by inspection. And you might be thinking to yourself, whoa, we did that by inspection so quickly. Why would I go through this monotonous way to get at the same answer? But it's very important that you know how to do by this way too, because especially in the test. When you get some hairy ones, this is going to be very valuable to figure it out. So I really want to stress how important it is that you know how to do it this way.